In this video, we're going to touch on the Minnesota Lynx. Are they moving up into first class? As well, we will touch on the Caitlyn Clark not being included on the Olympic team. But before we start, if you like the content, then please consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like. All right, let's get into this. So far in the WNBA, I think most things are pretty much as expected. The Mercury might be a little bit better than I thought they would be. Dallas might be a little bit worse than I thought they would be. And Dallas has injuries, and I'm wondering if Phoenix has injuries to come. Hopefully not. The Mercury will stay healthy, and I'm impressed about how good Copper is and been in the up-tempo game that Phoenix is playing. But the team that's impressed me the most so far has been the Minnesota Lynx, as they are currently sitting with the third best record in the league at 9-3 and have had two brutal losses. One to the Connecticut Sun, where Collier was called for a brutal foul on Bonner at the end of the game. Seemed like a touch foul to me, as the block on the ball was very clean. And if she got her with the body, it was definitely a touch foul in my opinion. As well, a few games ago, they lost to the Phoenix Mercury on a buzzer beater. KFC got them on a three-pointer with 2.1 seconds left, which was pretty unlucky. But the one game they did sort of take a beat down was at home. The Minnesota Lynx came in and sort of let them know, hey, we're still the premier team in the league, and took them out on the Minnesota Lynx home court 80-66. But they were able to give the Aces a nice dish of revenge in Vegas, taking them out 100-86. And that was after beating the Seattle Storm at home 83-64. That game was a bit spicy as Nneka Ogwumike and Napheesa Collier got into it a bit, as these two are normally quite mild-mannered. I don't know if mild-mannered's right, but anyway, they're not usually going off, and they did not have much love for each other during this game, which was good to watch. And I guess that's the thing with this team. Is Napheesa Collier, is she taking that step into elite star status? Her numbers are really, really good, as through 11 games, she's averaging 21 points, 11 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and her effective field goal shooting percentage is 51%. She's shooting a ridiculous 40% from the three-point line. And I would say if there's one criticism of her game, it's almost that she's too efficient or plays too within herself, as Cheryl Reeves is really pushing her, hey, I want you to shoot more. I want you to take more ownership of it. I don't mind if you take a bad shot. You're our alpha, and really trying to put her in uncomfortable spots to make sure she develops into that franchise player. And Reeves said this after their win over the Aces. She's like, we put her in a lot of sets and trying to use her much in like the way the Aces use Asia Wilson.
And so like Fee, we're trying to coach Fee through this game. Wasn't her best game, but she did a lot of things that we're asking her to do when you're playing against bigs and you can't necessarily get yourself in the paint. And I think Becky's running really great stuff for Asia. That we're saying we got to do the same thing for Fee. These players are so versatile. And so just, a work in progress for Fee and some of the stuff that we want to do with her. But this was a game that we wanted to take and say, we're going to do some stuff with you. We're going to make you uncomfortable. And, she found her way through that. And I think overall as a team, the movement that we got, the sharing of the ball that we got, they're having fun with that part of it.
And that's smart, because that's what they need to get into that next level. They need to have her be that alpha, dependable player. If you need a bucket, you can go to Fee and she can deliver it. And if that happens, then this is a championship team, because all the parts fit so well together, as everybody else around her can shoot and is an offensive threat, which is made even tougher because of the free agent signing of Alana Smith, as she is long at 6'4", so she gives them the height that the Lynx need, but as well, she can go inside, outside, as she is shooting a ridiculous 48% from the three-point line. Now, Cheryl Reeves in one of the interviews said, hey, she went to Collier and said, I'm thinking about signing Smith. What do you think? She's like, yeah, sign her. She's a pain to play against because she is so long and effective on defense as well. She can go outside on offense, and she's just a nightmare. And putting those two together just allows the Lynx to create so much space, and it's devastating. And then not only that, They have depth in their front court as well, so they can go to the bench and bring in Cecilia Zanderlasini, who's 6'2", and she has that European game as well and can go inside, outside. So Smith gets in trouble, then they have her to go to on the bench. Now, she's a little bit smaller at 6'2", but they have all these 6'2 players as well. Bridget Carlson, who returned, she's a 6'2". And they just all fit together and all have similar games where they can go inside, outside. And then if they need a big, they can go to Dorka Juhas, who is long at 6'5", but can hold her ground on the inside for the most part. As well, she can stretch. Like, she's not a great three-point shooter, but she can hit an outside shot. So they just have all these perfect parts in the front court. As well, their back court is now sorted as well. They've always had Kayla McBride, and she's on a heater. Like, she's shooting 51% from the three-point line, which is ridiculous, and that's not going to hold. But she has always been solid. Their big hole has been the point guard position. The worst was when they tried to put Aerial Powers at the point guard spot, and it just hasn't worked. But now they have Courtney Williams, and then backing her up, Natasha Heidemann. So they have somebody running the team, 2 point guards that can do that. And you can see on the court it just works. The other thing is they just scramble on defense as they are all mobile and can move around. I'd say the only hole they have is athleticism. And the first time they played the Las Vegas Aces, where they took the bad loss, Jackie Young really hurt them, and they didn't have anybody that could match up on Jackie Young. But Diamond Miller, she's been out with a knee injury, but it was a scope. So she should basically be back this season, and the hope would be that she can fill that role of defensive stopper on the athletic player. We bring you in, you close them down, and just do this one task. And then conceivably, they have every part you need to really go far, potentially make a run to the championship. And to be clear, I'm not saying they're going to the championship. I'm just saying they are in the mix right now and are very interesting to watch and look at. And you can see this team coming together, and they have all the parts to go far, especially if Collier continues to develop and can be that upper echelon player like a Thomas or a Stewart or a Wilson or an Agumake. If she's in that level, then their ceiling is truly limitless because they have all the parts to win a championship. Now to switch gears, the Caitlyn Clark saga. I haven't had much to say on this, as I think I did it on the earlier video. As I saw earlier, once they invited Diana Taurasi to the trial, she was going to make the team. She actually hasn't played too bad, and to be fair, there are other players I don't think should be on the team. Like, the one that should come under a bit of scrutiny is Aaliyah Boston, as she has not really played well this season. I know Boston's a center, and that they would probably replace her with another center. They could have gotten Clark on the team if they wanted to. Clearly they didn't, and that's whatever. I think the Olympic team will always be controversial. I am very surprised that they passed up on the jersey sales they would have gotten with Caitlyn Clark being on Team USA. But that's their call to make, and I'm not going to lose any sleep over it because they'll thrash any team they see. Was a missed opportunity to bring more publicity to the game, but I'm not going to stay up at night worrying about poor Caitlyn Clark because she's going to be on many Olympic teams in the future. I've seen some reports say that she was kept off the team because they were worried she didn't get much playing time. The team would catch a lot of heat for that. I think that's if that's indeed a true reason why she was kept off the team, I think that's ridiculous because I don't think so far Caitlyn Clark has said all the right things in the press conferences. Pretty much I've seen her have a misstep. I've seen her coach have more missteps in press conferences than Caitlyn Clark. All right, now over to you. Do you see the Lynx being able to make a run to the championship? Do you think they have all the parts like I do, or am I overvaluing their hot shooting streak to start off the season? In addition, am I underestimating the catastrophic disaster Caitlyn Clark being left off the U.S. team is? Is that truly the end of the world and end of basketball as we know it? Your thoughts, your comments, your poison below. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a good night.